Karen's obsession escalated yet again, this time targeting my waterfront farm, a property that had long been the centerpiece of both my personal retreat and agricultural operations. Her plan was audacious. She sent a team of guards, hired through the HOA, to intimidate me and assert authority over the property. What she failed to anticipate, as she had so often before, was that I had meticulously prepared for such an intrusion, and the guards would encounter consequences far beyond what they expected. The morning began quietly. My waterfront farm, bordered by tall trees and a winding creek, was serene. But sensors embedded along the perimeter, coupled with strategically placed cameras, detected unusual movement. A convoy of vehicles approaching with individuals wearing uniforms that suggested security authority. I watched, calm and collected, as the intruders moved toward the dock and storage areas, likely expecting minimal resistance. I mobilized Atlas, my trained assistance dog, and ensured that my surveillance systems were feeding real-time data to a secure control hub. Each guard's movement was documented, every misstep recorded. As they approached the property, I triggered a combination of deterrents. Automatic gates closed behind their vehicles, barriers along the shoreline were deployed, and warning lights activated to indicate the presence of a secure, monitored area. When the guards attempted to push past these measures, I confronted them directly. My presence alone, calm but authoritative, immediately disrupted their expectations. They had anticipated a compliant or frightened landowner, but instead, they were met with someone trained in law enforcement and tactical response, fully aware of both defensive measures and legal ramifications. What followed was a swift, controlled escalation that incapacitated their ability to continue the intrusion without harming anyone. Using non-lethal techniques, I neutralized their approach vectors. Tripwires, immobilizing barriers, and strategic positioning forced the guards to retreat or become temporarily immobilized. Every action they took was recorded on multiple cameras, ensuring that any claim of wrongdoing on my part would be disproven immediately. The situation reached its peak when one of the guards attempted to climb the storage shed, intending to gain a vantage point over the property. Atlas intercepted, positioning himself to prevent further movement, while I calmly instructed the intruder to stop. The man froze, realizing he had underestimated the combination of training, preparation, and legal authority present. Within minutes, all guards had either retreated or were rendered incapable of advancing further, their intrusion completely neutralized. Karen arrived later in her vehicle, expecting to see a confrontation under her control. Instead, she witnessed her team hobbling, flustered, and retreating under non-lethal but highly effective tactics. The cameras captured every reaction, every frustrated gesture, and every miscalculation. The HOA's attempt at intimidation had failed spectacularly, exposing both her poor planning and the incompetence of the guards she had deployed. Law enforcement was contacted immediately after the incident, and the guards were questioned regarding trespass and intimidation. Karen's instructions were documented and tied directly to her, further escalating the legal consequences she faced. For the first time, her obsession was not just a personal embarrassment, it was a legally actionable offense. Neighbors and community members, alerted by the visible confrontation and subsequent reports, began to view the HOA not as a governing authority, but as a reckless and dangerous entity. Karen's reputation continued to crumble, while my position as a prepared, authoritative, and legally protected property owner was reinforced. By the end of the day, the waterfront farm was secure. The guards were removed, Karen's involvement was exposed, and every action had been carefully documented to ensure ongoing protection. The incident served as a stark reminder. Preparation, strategic foresight, and legal knowledge always outweigh raw audacity. Karen's repeated attempts to assert control had not only failed, they had left her and the HOA increasingly vulnerable, while strengthening my position in the eyes of law, the community, and anyone observing the unfolding saga.